We always knew that Pyro wasn't the final stop in Star Citizen universe. After all, there are supposed to be 100 systems one day. But what comes after Pyro? CitizenCon 2954 gave us that answer with the Beyond Pyro panel, and it's more than we could have imagined. From the return of Nyx to the jaw-dropping reveal of the stunning new system, the future of Star Citizen is about to get a whole lot bigger. As always, CitizenCon 2954 brought us a wealth of new information, and one of the standout moments was the Beyond Pyro panel. This panel went beyond what we've come to expect, showing us what lies beyond 4.0, and it's looking like Star Citizen's universe is about to get much, much bigger. Today we're going to break down all of the key details from the panel and explore everything from the return of Nyx to the incredible reveal of the Castra system. But first I wanted to mention that we've got an exciting giveaway happening right now. 2 Drake Cutter starter packages are up for grabs, so stick around to learn how you can enter. If you're excited to see what's next for Star Citizen, stick around as we dive into the future of the verse. Let's start with Nyx. This system was pretty much expected. We all knew it was coming at some point, but that didn't make its reveal any less exciting. What really struck me about Nyx was just how much it has changed compared to what we saw years ago. Delamar, the asteroid base, is now a true zero-G landing zone, and that alone adds an entirely new layer of gameplay. We've dealt with zero-G environments for years, but in Nyx, that could introduce some very unique gameplay. The zero-G environment could likely challenge players in new ways. It's not just about a fresh coat of paint either. This new version of Nyx feels like a completely different experience, blending nostalgia with new possibilities. I'm really looking forward to exploring Delamar's unique environment and seeing what kinds of missions we'll be able to take on there. But while Nyx looks incredible, there are a few concerns I want to touch on. As many of you have likely noticed, the exposed landing pads and freight elevators are open to the vacuum of space. This raises some potential issues, especially when it comes to griefing. We've all seen what happens at busy landing pads in Stanton: pad rammers, ship destruction, and cargo theft. Imagine trying to load up your hull only for some griefer to swoop in and blow up your ship, or even worse, steal your cargo while you're distracted. What I'm hoping is that CIG introduces some sort of shield system around these areas, or even an ownership system that gives you control over your pad and cargo access points. That way only you or trusted players can interact with your ship and cargo. And while I do think it could be interesting to let pirates hack into these systems after eliminating the owner, that should be a difficult task, not something easily abused. Despite these concerns, I'm excited for Nyx's return. It's going to be a system full of fresh opportunities, and I can't wait to explore its zero-G environment, take on missions, and see how it fits into the larger Star Citizen universe. Next up is Leski. The landing location of Delamar is finally making its return, and it's getting a much-needed update. Leski used to be a pretty barren, abandoned mining outpost, but now it's being reworked to fit with current gameplay systems and mission loops. The most significant update that I mentioned before was the addition of zero-G hangars and new docking services. Obviously, with servers getting bigger and more players filling up landing zones, the days of waiting for landing pads might finally be behind us, especially with server meshing increasing the player cap drastically. These new zero-G hangars are going to give players more options, and it's going to be a game changer when trying to land in heavily populated zones. Plus, having Leski positioned in the asteroid belt adds a whole new dimension to landing and taking off in zero-G environment. It's a better version of Grimhex, but for more players than just pirates. But Leski isn't just about hangars, it's also getting new access points for missions and extended gameplay areas. This means that Leski won't just be a place to land and refuel, it'll be a hub for various gameplay loops. The old mining facility is now a bustling location with mission types that will keep players coming back, whether they're there for cargo, combat, or exploration. One of the things that I'm most excited about is how these changes are making older locations relevant again. It's not just about bringing back Leski, it's about turning it into a location that matters in today's Star Citizen. With the new zero-G mechanics and the extended gameplay, I'm confident that Leski will become a popular spot for players looking for unique, challenging experiences. If you're excited about this as much as I am and want to stay up to date on all things Star Citizen, make sure to subscribe. I cover everything from gameplay mechanics to new features, so you won't miss any updates on how this will evolve. Now let's jump back in. Now let's talk about ArcCorp's Area 18, which is finally giving some much needed love. For a long time, ArcCorp has been a beautiful ecumenopolis with very little to actually do. Sure, it's impressive to fly around a planet-wide city, but outside of landing at Area 18 and visiting the trade terminals, there hasn't been much reason to explore. But that's about to change with the introduction of the Municipal Works area. This new addition to ArcCorp is going to give players more gameplay options within landing zones, which is something that we've been waiting for. The Municipal Works area is split into two main parts: an open world sandbox where players can engage in missions like exploration, repair, and even pest control, and the depths, which are instanced dungeon-like areas with focused mission content. I think this is a great move by CIG. It gives players a reason to explore the vast city of ArcCorp beyond just landing there. You'll be able to dive into these missions and progress through the depths, unlocking new areas as you complete missions. The idea of having these instance areas, especially ones designed for solo or group play, feels like a step in the right direction. It adds long-term progression to landing zones, which is something that we've been missing for a while. Now, while the Municipal Works area is a big improvement, ArcCorp still lacks other points of interest to explore. Currently we have this massive city planet, but outside of Area 18, there are no other key locations to visit or interact with. I'm hoping that as they continue to expand landing zone gameplay, they'll introduce more places to explore within ArcCorp, maybe even some hidden spots within the city itself. Perhaps when building interiors are introduced, we'll have more locations to visit and new gameplay areas to complete missions in other landing zones as well. But distribution centers could be expanded into mission hubs or old bunkers for the other planets as well, some of which already have lower levels blocked off and could be opened up for dungeon-style gameplay on the mini moons and planets in Stanton. There's a lot of potential here, and if CIG plays their cards right, ArcCorp could become one of the most exciting locations in the game. Stanton could get much more massive if they extend the idea that they have for ArcCorp to other planets via distribution centers and bunkers. Personally, I'd love to see CIG take this a step further by incorporating procedural generation into these areas, so they're not all the same. Imagine procedurally generated missions into the depths of ArcCorp, where each time that you enter, you face new challenges, enemies, and puzzles. This would add even more depth and variety to Star Citizen, giving players a reason to return to these locations time and time again. Now, let's shift gears and talk about the systems beyond Pyro. We've all been focused on Pyro for so long, and it's been the big buzz leading up to Alpha 4.0. But during CitizenCon, we got a sneak peek into what comes after Pyro, and it looks like Star Citizen's universe is about to get even bigger. We already know that Stanton will continue to evolve, and Pyro will serve as the main lawless system. But the real surprise came with the reveal of the Castra system, and this one took me completely off guard. I was expecting Magnus, but when they showed off Castra, I couldn't believe it. Castra sits on the Peri line, right between UEE and Jean-controlled space, and its history as a key location during the Cold War between humanity and the Jean immediately adds weight to its importance in the game. This isn't just another system for players to explore, it's a strategically significant part of Star Citizen's lore. The highlight of Castra is without a doubt Cascom, the primary planet in the system. Cascom's vast crimson forests, massive lakes, and towering mountains make it one of the most stunning locations that we've seen in the game so far. It's the kind of planet that immediately grabs your attention and makes you want to explore every corner. But what really stood out to me was Sherman, the landing zone on Cascom. Sherman was originally a military base, and you can still see remnants of that history in the decommissioned anti-orbital cannons and other military infrastructure. It's been converted into a commercial hub now, but that mix of old military architecture and modern civilian life gives it such a unique atmosphere. I think that this will be one of the most exciting places to visit once it's in the game. For players looking to set up a base of operations, Sherman and Cascom are going to be prime spots. I can already see myself spending a lot of time here, especially when base building becomes a reality in Star Citizen. Cascom has all the markings of a home in the verse, and I know that I'm not the only one looking forward to settling down on this beautiful planet. With base building on the horizon, locations like Cascom and Sherman will likely become hotspots for players looking to establish their presence in the game. The strategic value of Castra, combined with the visual beauty of Cascom, makes it a prime candidate for long-term investment. Imagine building a base nestled between Crimson Forest with lakes stretching out in the distance, all while having the convenience of a landing zone like Sherman nearby. For me, this is exactly the kind of immersive experience that I've been waiting for in Star Citizen. So to wrap things up, the Beyond Pyro panel at CitizenCon 2954 finally didn't give us another look at what's coming in Pyro. It opened the door to the future of Star Citizen. We got to see the return of Nyx with the zero-G landing zones and potential gameplay challenges, the much-needed updates to Leski, which will turn it into a gameplay hub, and the introduction of more in-depth gameplay within ArcCorp, with the Municipal Works area adding layers of progression to the city planet. But the real showstopper was the reveal of Castra, with Cascom and Sherman being some of the most exciting locations that we've seen so far. The promise of base building, combined with the strategic importance and beauty of Cascom, makes this system one of the most anticipated additions to the game. So, what are you excited about? Is it the zero-G gameplay in Nyx, the new mission opportunities in ArcCorp's Municipal Works, or maybe the breathtaking landscapes of Cascom? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you want to support the channel and get access to exclusive perks like early content, members-only Discord channels, and behind-the-scenes updates, consider becoming a member. Your support helps me keep making content, and you'll get some cool benefits along the way. Don't forget, there is still time to enter the giveaway for the Drake Cutter starter package. Check out the description below for details on how to enter. And if you missed last week's video on crafting and base building, make sure to give it a watch. It's packed with updates and insights that you don't want to miss. Thanks for watching. Fly safe, pilots, and we'll see you in the verse. Havoc out.